to episode 93 of Checkpoint Chat. Another remote episode. It's going to be like this for a while.
For the foreseeable future. We might very well be celebrating episode 100 at home.
Remotely.
Yeah,
Would you
We'll
imagine?
cut some cake over webcam.
That'd be great, actually. We both have like a little cupcake with a candle. That's Matthew Figueroa, by the way. I'm Alessandro Barbosa.
I know.
Hi.
As per usual, though, technical issues before the show. My microphone being a real asshole.
As per usual, it's Matthew's microphone.
I don't know why it's mine. Sometimes like 90% of the time it works absolutely fine. I plug it in, I stream, I go to you, plug it in, record, no issue.
I don't know what you're doing to it during the week. You're just abusing it.
On a day, I just plug it in and then it's whisper soft. It's like, hey, it's hello, what's wrong with the volume's gone? And I'm like, okay.
You're basically saying your mic is soft and now you're speaking softly into it.
I just did it softly. So I don't know if there might be...
People are going to be like, why did Matty just keep quiet for 2 seconds there?
Maybe it didn't even pick up. Post-editing, you might find there's a bit of static. I don't know.
We'll hear Lupin's conquests in the background because I'll have to boost the sound so much.
Meow.
I did enjoy the Instagram video you posted yesterday of him just...
holy shit. I need to take the...
Best ending of Game of Thrones ever.
Oh, I need to actually... It looked more like a WWE move. So
it did, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Luna was on her scratch post and then Lupin just like straight up grabbed her and pulled her
off
down.
there.
Yeah, I need to put like some commentary over there. Like, my God, King.
Yeah. It was like a choke slam off there. Yeah. It was like the Undertaker just rose and Lupin was like, fuck you, put his paw around Luna's neck and just boom. But that's what it looked like. He wrapped his paw around her and just threw her down.
But my favorite is it was very cold yesterday. It still is cold today. It doesn't feel as bad though.
It was really cold yesterday. It was not fun.
They've got such a weird relationship that they'll fight like that, and then there are times they just tolerate each other. But then when it's cold, it's like this peace treaty appears, and they like snuggle up to each other to keep warm. Like,
they know that mutual destruction does not work when you're both freezing your ass off.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, this is a rare occasion.
You need it's sort of like the, I think in Monster Hunter, your little cat companions can wear like little parkas and stuff. You need that for actual cats.
Oh my God, imagine. That'd be great.
That'd be pretty cool.
How's your week been?
It's been a week. This week has felt like a year. It was this busy. Week, just felt like it dragged and dragged and dragged. It was a very busy week, yeah.
Was it like work or work and freelance and...
Both, because I was just like, I wrote a review this week and then work was quite busy and it's just, the days blended crazy into one another, And your side?
The thing is, working at home, it's weird how when I'm at the office, I come 6 o'clock, well, like 95% of the time, come 6 o'clock, it's like, okay, cool, time.
Do you work from 9 until 6?
Yeah, 9 to 6.
See, I work 9 until 5.
You son of a bitch. So come 6 o'clock, it's like, well, when we're in the office, like, okay, cool, it's home time. But there's this weird like overlap now. At 6 o'clock, it's like, okay, just want to make sure that things are okay. You know, sometimes, well, this week it felt like there were a couple times like, oh my God, like I can't leave yet. I have to just finish this up or do this. But
it's dangerous like that because like if you were in the office, you just turn off right there.
Yeah.
But because you're at home, you're like, oh, let me just.
Yeah, but I can't complain. Like as far as overtime goes, like my company's been very good, and I've seldom had to. I'm not one of those people who like I have to check my email at 9, 10, 11 for something urgent, whatever. So that's good.
The crappy part was when we just finished recording last week. Like not even 2 minutes after we said goodbye, I got a message being like, there's something wrong. We need to fix it now. Ended up working for about 4 to 5 hours last Saturday.
Can you claim overtime for that or not?
No. So the fun thing is that the company I work for, any clients that make us work overtime, we log the time.
Yeah.
And they charge the client for that overtime, but we don't get paid the overtime. They charge the client basically to try and dissuade them from doing overtime.
Doing that, yeah. That sucks though. That you don't
it felt like I finished working and it was basically like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, And I was just like, oh, this doesn't feel like a weekend anymore now.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Well, that was my last Saturday, not work, but just doing actual chores around the house. Like holy shit! I had to mow the lawn, sweep the leaves because it's autumn. Oh my god!
I needed to do that today because my dad usually does that stuff, but he's hurt his arm. He's got like I don't know what they call like golfing elbow, but he's never golfed in his life, so he's just like super.
No, he's lying to you. He's like,
yeah, exactly.
My elbow, I can't work.
so he's like, well, the problem with him is like he won't rest it. He'll just do shit, and then it will still be sore. And we're like, no, you need to rest it. So he's like, well, I need to cut the grass. I'm like, fine, I'll do it.
Sounds like my father-in-law because he was very much under the weather last week. And he's the sort of person who's like, no, like I'll do it. It's like, no, you're dying. It's okay. I'll mow the lawn. You just relax. It's fine.
But mowing the lawn is like a workout. It's not nothing. Put it that way.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. When you put it like that, it's, for someone who's under the weather, yeah, it's not at all ideal. It's like no. You just chill.
Yeah, you just chill. But you can't do it in this rain now. Like
no, yeah. I don't have to do it today. But I was quite bleak because last week when I swept, like holy shit, there were a lot of leaves, and like literally the next day, it's like I hadn't even touched it. I was like, how? Like,
it's Animal Crossing in real life. You're weeding. You're cutting down trees. Except in real life, you can't just hit a tree 3 times and watch it fall over safely.
In real life, I can't just put leaves in my pockets. Well, I can.
I mean, you could, but your pockets would fill up pretty quickly.
I'm not going to get that many in my pockets.
I spent a lot of time this week. So I was still playing Animal Crossing a lot. But I looked up a guide to try and make my own tarantula island on one of those mystery islands. Because there is one of the variants of the mystery islands is just an island where tarantulas spawn like indefinitely.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Which is great because they sell for like 8,000 bells each, so you can make a lot of cash. Yeah. But there's a trick to like if you uproot every tree and every flower and basically destroy an island barrenly, you can get tarantulas to spawn. So I did that. Then I realized, oh wait, we're in the southern hemisphere. Tarantulas don't exist yet until May, and I was like, oh, I just wasted all my time.
Oh shit! So that's why I haven't seen one myself.
It's seasonal,
actually.
Yeah. I've seen scorpions on my island once or twice, and I have not caught one yet because they keep killing me.
One. Yeah, I'm like, there's a scorpion. Pull out the net. As I pull out the net, I'm dead. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that thing just charges you, and it's like I've even had my net ready once, and I don't understand when I need to because I creep up on it slowly, and it turns and it pauses. And then it like does a little hop and then like races me. And then I've always like let go and I put the net down and it's already too close to me. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, god damn it. I hate it when it like flaps the side, like past the thing you're trying to catch.
Yeah.
Like, no, damn it. But yeah, we didn't intro the show, but hey, Checkpoint Chat, we talk games, etc.
Yeah, this
Animal
Checkpoint
Crossing.
Chat, we talk about video games. Animal Crossing. Still a good time.
God damn, I played a lot of that this week as well. I was genuinely shocked, okay, because, I don't know why the Switch does this, but if you ever look at your profile, when you've played a new game, it doesn't tell you how long you've played. It just says, like, first played 5 days ago. Whatever.
I think it only tells you after 10 days, which is so bizarre.
So like, it's every time I play a new game, I'm always curious, like, how much time have I put into this thing, whatever, and you have to sit and wait 10 days. And so when that mystery number reveals itself, I'm always surprised, like, oh, okay, like this game took me 5 hours or 10 hours, whatever. When yours revealed itself, it's like Animal Crossing 30 hours. I was
it was 30 hours. I was like, my God.
It was 25 and then it jumped to 30 in like the same day.
Yeah, because they do in increments of 5. Yeah. So it's like a very big leeway.
I was like, shit, so if you've had it for like 10 days, you've played like at least 3 hours a day, which is what you said. You said you play a couple of hours a day, you do what you need to, and you move on, whatever.
The first day I like binged it hard, and then like every day it's been like 2-3 hours maybe. Yeah.
But then, so I haven't played nearly as much as you. I've played a fair bit, but in my head I was like...
You also restarted as well, so...
Yeah, but I mean, I lost like an hour. But when I got my time, I was genuinely shocked to see that it was 15 or more hours. I was like, if I've
it's a lot.
But in my head I was like, if I've played for 10 days at like an hour each, which is what it felt like, maybe 1 or 2 days I played 2 hours, let's say. I was honestly expecting like 10 hours. It was 15 hours. I was like, holy shit, I've played this game a lot.
Think about that. 15 hours is like a whole Uncharted 4 campaign or God of War or
Yeah.
like Resident Evil 3 times, it's like,
Yeah.
that's a decent amount of time.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, so you've played literally double than I, but I think we can both agree the time just passes in that game. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like, not once has it felt that it's dragged, and it's just me doing my thing on my island, running
Yeah.
around, ticking off some box or pursuing the next goal, whatever it might be.
And your time doesn't necessarily mean progression. Like,
No, not at all.
you're definitely behind me, but like, if you are focusing on crafting or focusing on making money, or like, depending on your focus, you could be ahead or behind a person with double, triple your hours. I've seen some people. Who was it? I saw on Twitter. The what's her name? Lena Rain, the composer of Celeste. She's
Celeste,
like hooked onto Animal Crossing via Twitter, and she posted her time, and she had done like 90 hours in a week.
One of my colleagues, I saw, she's played 60 hours. It's like, holy shit.
It's amazing.
Like,
it really
that's
is.
double what you've played. I'm like, how have you played like 6 hours a day?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Yeah. I feel like this is when Persona 5 came out, for example. Like, Persona 5 was like the watershed moment for that series. It like went mainstream. Like, everyone knew about Persona. Everyone knew what Persona kind of was. Because like prior to that, I remember writing about the reveal trailer for Persona 5 years ago and being like, what the fuck is this game? Like, watching some footage and being like, I have no idea what this game is about. And then I played 4 and I was like, okay, I get it. But now I feel like it's like common knowledge what a Persona is. And I feel like New Horizons has done this for Animal Crossing in a way.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I've always, exactly what you said, I've always known of Animal Crossing, that it is one of Nintendo's like flagship titles, but it's one of those that's, it's not been a Mario or a Zelda. It's been one of those that have just like slipped under my radar for the longest time. And now I've picked it up, and I can't tell you what is different in this Animal Crossing compared to previous ones. All I know is
I know the crafting is different. There was no crafting in previous ones.
Oh, is there no crafting? Okay.
Yeah, no crafting.
All I know is that you are on an island and you are just doing whatever you want. You either building up your own house, you're laying out your island, you're just decorating it, you're exploring. No, I don't know. It's such a weird loop, because when I first started the game, so it gives you the option to choose one of 4 islands, whatever. And I was like, okay, like, seeing as I'm living on this island, this is quite important, whatever. But like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because your island's actually quite small.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be this massive place with lots of things to go and see and do whatever. But it's actually this tiny little space, and yet you can do so much. Like, imagine it was bigger.
I chose the wrong type of island. I chose an island with like rivers going through the middle of it.
I thought my island was pretty nice until I visited one or 2 other people's. I was like, you guys really struck the jackpot. Like, the colleague of mine who's played 60 hours, her island is, when I got there, like, it's laid out so nicely. It's almost like she's got the bottom half of the island, and the river sort of almost like in parallel, like come up and then meet in the middle. So she's got this huge bottom half
so
of space.
Cool.
Yeah,
that is
where
so
it's like
cool.
It's not broken up by anything, and then it's like the river, and then the other side.
Well, it's entirely possible that she's done that, because eventually you do get access to terraforming tools.
Maybe.
So you can create your own rivers. You can. I mean, there was a story this week where someone used those terraforming tools to basically turn their island into a miniature version of Hyrule from Link to the Past.
I actually did see that. That's cool.
If you take like an bird's eye view photo of the two, they identical, which is kind of awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Have you, speaking of Zelda, have you crafted an ocarina?
Yeah, I have crafted an ocarina, so
I haven't done it yet.
My dad's asking me if I want tea. Sorry.
No, it's all good. This is like one of those videos you see on the internet. It's almost like your child walks in, you're like, no, I'm in an important meeting.
It's like that Sky News guy when he's giving that. That video kills me. It's so good.
I would have loved it if your dad walked up to you. You had to like push him out of view, like, hey,
just like one arm just getting away.
Listen.
I did craft an ocarina. It was like one of the first things I crafted. I need to get more into the crafting, because I feel like I've let that go by the wayside. I get all these recipes, and then I just craft my my tools, really.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's actually, when I sit and think about it, it's like, what have I done in that game? And it's honestly just been, I've got my daily loop where every day I go around the island, pick up my artifacts, I look for the money tree, and then sometimes you'll have like Gulliver, for example, what is he, a seagull?
The bird.
Or like
Yeah,
a bird,
I've only had him on my island once.
I've had him twice. And then
Lucky.
in the evening, you've seen the ghost, obviously, as well?
Yes, yeah.
Like
Seen once.
They've
Yeah.
popped up a couple times. So like I'm doing those, and those are like it's the daily thing you can do, you know, because it's always there.
You can
And
go
then
buy clothes from Sonic.
Well, I only just got enough nuggets to lay down my store yesterday. So that's
Oh,
how
Nook's
far,
Cranny. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the Nook store, whatever it's called.
Yes.
So like that's how well.
So now you
far
can
behind I am.
do. Oh, what's that? What's the thing that? Oh, you can do turnips on Sunday.
Hallelujah. But now, so I've been to a few other islands and I've invited people to come back, but none of them have come. So I don't know if there's like a progression thing I haven't hit yet, or
So yeah, there is a progression thing. So you should have your two people on your island, correct?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's when you've paid your second house loan. I'm not
okay.
sure. Eventually Tom Nook is like, yeah, cool. He gives you like a project where you put down 3 other houses and then you have to craft stuff to decorate
okay.
them, and then people move in
Okay.
based on who you've invited so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've invited 3 people. They're like, oh yeah, I'll call Tom Nook and I'll be there. I'm like, next day work, I'm like, where's my new friend?
I've made poor choices with my villagers because I just invite whoever like I see. And
Yeah.
recently I invited this clown and I'm not happy.
Wow, what do they do?
His name's Pietro and he's a clown, and I went into his house and it's all like Wheel of Fortune wheels and it's got clown music and I'm not happy.
Like off my island.
Yeah, I want to vote him off my
I
island.
really need a tribal council.
I
Survivor,
don't
Animal Crossing.
like this. Yeah, he creeps me the fuck out.
Who's that presenter from Survivor? Who's the OG? I can't remember his name.
Oh man, I don't know his name, but I know exactly. I can like picture him in my mind.
Just
like,
imagine him
"The
as
tribe
Tom
has
Nook
spoken."
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and just like this fire going out in the lantern.
but Animal Crossing still a good time, and I mean, I
It's
think
so
I've
good,
only
yeah.
scratched the surface. I've only really just paid my one. I've traded my Nook miles. I paid my first home loan. Now I'm on the 200,000 one, so I'm still way behind. But having a good time regardless. It's a lot of fun. Even
I
Adventurous
do not
Often
like
it's-
this. I don't like this Easter event.
Holy shit, this Easter event. So I don't think I'm sort of at the point of the game we are where you're trying to get specific fish or bugs, whatever. But
It's messing with me. Hey, sure.
Yeah. Oh, how many flying balloons with gifts do you have on your island?
There's like balloons everywhere, and
Everywhere.
like every second fish I fish is an egg, and I'm
Is
just
an
like,
egg,
I
yeah.
hate.
I caught
this.
4 eggs in a row.
Yep,
I was like, okay,
I hate
I'm
this.
done with this event.
Yeah,
Look,
it finishes on April 12th, I think, and I'm going to be so happy.
I don't mind. Like, I'm glad there are seasonal events, but it would have been cool if there were some sort of indicators, like if it wasn't a fish-shaped thing.
Yeah, maybe it was
that's
an
egg.
egg-shaped shadow in the
Okay,
water.
let me just not fish there, you know?
Exactly.
Shit. And then, but the flying presents, you know how long it took me to figure out that. So here's a dumb thing I did, okay? You know, you can go buy stuff from, is it Timmy or Tommy? I don't know. The one who sells stuff.
They both do.
Oh, they both do. Okay. He normally, either one normally has like 2 items of the day. Okay.
Yeah.
You know that it took me a couple of days to realize that you can tap a shoulder button to go buy other stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. I just never realized that, because for the longest time I was like, I can't get these balloons. They're just flying over it. I don't have a slingshot. I know I need a slingshot to shoot out there. And then a few days later, I was like, oh, I could have bought this ages
the recipe
ago.
for the slingshot.
Yeah. And then, there was that little thrill. The first time you see a gift, like, ooh, like there's a gift. You know, I'm going to get something new. That's completely gone. I see one of those and I'm like, for fuck's sake, it's probably...
Yeah. I don't. I also don't understand why the ladder, the vaulting pole, and I think the slingshot are the only tools that don't break. Like,
Yeah.
why can't that apply to all the tools?
Yeah.
It's so annoying having to recraft tools. It's like the one part of the game I really don't like.
I haven't looked it up, but I don't know if there are any, like, superior tools.
I don't know either. I haven't seen any videos where there are superior tools. I feel like this is
Yeah.
it. So, like, why force me to continually craft these things? That's the one. Like, I don't mind the crafting, but the durability of the tools is pretty irksome.
There's a problem,
Yeah, but it's a really fun game. I'm still playing it. I still play like during my lunch break and at night, especially now because now that you've got Nook's Cranny, they have 2 prices for turnips per day, in the morning and in the afternoon. Shit. So you always have to check. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. And buy your turnips. Oh, also the turnip lady only comes in the morning on Sundays. I made this mistake last week. So I missed her last week because I logged on early in the afternoon and then didn't find her, and I was like, damn it. I missed all my turnips.
I'll find her.
I've seen people make some cash dollar with turnips.
She normally sells them for like, what, 100?
Around 100, yeah.
And then someone, I think you shared a post, someone was, the raccoons were buying them for like $5.70 a piece.
Yeah, it was a writer in the UK, Jen Simpkins. Yeah, she just posted that on Twitter, and then she was like, "Cool, I'm gonna open up my gates," and her game was continually crashing because so many people were trying to connect. So eventually, she had to change it to like mutual friends only because it was like she can't play.
Sorry, on that, that's another thing I'm not very fond of. So I like the multiplayer in Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how long it takes everyone to get on the island.
That whole like intro scene is pretty cool, but it takes forever.
It takes so like imagine I want to play with you and 2 others, for example. It would be so cool to like I could just count with my game and you guys pop up, like it loads you in. But it stops whatever I'm doing and it loads you guys in one at a time.
Yeah.
It's like
and it also loads, so like if I'm on your island and someone else comes and visits, it stops my game as well. It stops
everything, yeah.
Yeah. It's really odd. It's like a really cool, like, hey, look, someone's arriving, and it's like this whole airport like UI to show who's arriving, where they're coming from. It's cute and neat, but it takes like a full minute every time.
It would be cool if you could skip it. It's like, okay, like, oh, so-and-so's coming. I'm just going to carry on selling turnips, whatever the hell it is.
I also find it odd. I mean, I maybe understand why, because they don't want the game to be continually online, but every time you try and interact with something that has to do with the internet, so like if I want to send you a gift or if I want to visit your island, or it has to first like make an initial connection to the server before you continue every single time, which is a bit annoying. I wish there was a way, like a setting to be like, just keep me connected.
Just keep it toggled on, you know. But
it's like small quality of life things. There's like, there's a lot of things about the game that could be tweaked and tuned, but it's like I'm still hopelessly addicted.
That's like such a Nintendo thing. Like when it comes to their online infrastructure, it feels like
it just feels old.
5-10 years in the past. And I don't quite get it because in every other regard they're really good. So,
the cool thing was yesterday, because I sent you a gift yesterday, but when I initially wanted to send it, it's like, hey, there's an update for the game, so we can't connect until you update. So I left the game, updated, came back, and it kept the progress on the card. So I didn't have to rewrite it or anything. It's just like, hey, you didn't send this last time. Do you want to continue it? I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. So that's like modern day thinking. Wow, good job, Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So, but Animal Crossing's a real good time.
It's a ride.
I'm digging it a lot, and
likewise.
I don't know if you use these. So there's a parental, like a Nintendo Switch parental app, which I use only because it shows me how many hours I've played of. It's like a metric system, but it's only surfaced through parental controls. It's so weird. Like I can see how many hours per game I've played, and it's bizarre.
I don't know. Outside of the main menu we spoke of earlier, I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, so you have to activate like parental controls on your Switch, which is annoying because every time I want to join a new Wi-Fi network, I have to put in my parental code, which is dumb. But it gives me these stats. So every month, at the end of the month, it like sends you a summary of what you've done, and like basically it shows you every day that you've played. And from the day I got Animal Crossing, it's just like played Animal Crossing every single day since then. Yeah.
Oh, you hooked.
Yeah.
It's an easy game to pick up and enjoy, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's real fun. Real fun.
That's Animal Crossing.
What else you been busy with?
We played, I think you and I both played some of that good old Resident Evil 3. Started it last night.
Yeah, same.
And, I've played, how long have you played?
I've played about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I'd say more or less the same. Well, no, I don't want to say ask where we left off for spoiler reasons. But yeah, I've probably played about the same 2.5 hours. And yeah, we spoke a little, like very briefly before the show. It's really good, but it's not Resident Evil 2. It's different.
Yeah, it's super different. And that's the thing that's like, I'm struggling to kind of reconcile with, because this feels more like an action movie more than a horror game. Like, I haven't actually been scared in this game yet. And I remember RE2 scaring me consistently.
A lot. Yeah. Well, I think, so when I played the demo, I touched on it briefly. It was just, it's weird how it's different, because in RE2, you are forced into these narrow corridors. Like, most of the game is just this tight space. You're not going to really be able to run past. You have to sort of face whatever's in front of you. And RE3 has elements of that. I mean, there are certainly some dark alleys, or there are certain moments where they force you to fight whatever's around you, because there's just pure numbers, for example. But then, like I say, that's where they introduce the action of, like, oh, but there's a red barrel there. I just shoot it, and then, like, that's that, And it's almost like they're obviously very conveniently placed, but it would have been cool if it was maybe, I don't know if they were very few and far between, but it feels like every time there's a group of zombies, there's some way to deal with them. And it's kind of does ruin the horror aspects of the game.
It feels pretty easy. Like, I've died a few times, but only because most of the times I've died is when Nemesis is chasing me. And that's because he's like knocked me into a corner, and then I'm like, well,
you just can't get out.
I can't get out. I'm using the I think the new dodge mechanic is pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Because it really helps you like not fight Nemesis, but like actively get away from him. But man, if he corners you and he just like wails on you, you're dead. So
dead, yeah.
But other than that, it's like I'm finding that I have a lot of ammo all the time. And there's like, I don't know, RE2 felt cool because it felt like I was slowly discovering the police station bit by bit.
Yes, yeah.
And it was opening up places, slowly. So I was having to learn the layout of that place in case I needed to get away from Mr. X or whatever. RE3 just feels like it's shuffling me from one area to the next. It feels extremely linear.
Yeah. Well, outside of the opening area, which folds in on itself, like it's, you are running from one point to the other, and there are some shortcuts between. I reached a point in the story yesterday where, like, something happens and you can't go back to the area.
Yeah, I've done that as well. I can't go back to Raccoon City. Yeah.
I was like, the one really nice thing about Resident Evil 2 is that they designed the levels in such a way that at almost at like any point in the game, you can go back to the very beginning. Because the levels they just loop around, they fold in themselves very well. So I actually had to reload because I did that sequence, and then it plonked me into another part. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get back, and I know for a fact I missed an item.
Oh, one of those jewels.
Yeah, I missed one of the jewels. I was like,
I didn't know where the blue one was. I couldn't find it.
I can tell you after recording.
Okay. What did you get for it? Did you get a hip pouch?
A hip pouch, yeah.
Fuck. Okay, I should have gone back and done that.
Yeah, but it was one of those things that's like, I know for a fact I missed the jewel, and I can't go back. Whereas RE2 does the thing of you can just play the story however far you want. You can always go like, oh, I missed something in the locker. But I can just run, like, even if it's through the sewers, whatever.
I mean, RE2 only really locks you out of the police station near the end where you go.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty early. I mean, this is maybe like early. An hour and a half in the game. You're really locked out of the opening area, and it's like that's.
And that opening area is pretty fun. Like, I thought it was quite cool, like navigating some fire escapes and moving around the the actual streets is a really cool setting.
Yeah, so like that's the thing. I mean, I know it sounds like we are criticizing the game, but at the end of the day, it is still really good. It's just
it's fun. Yeah,
when the bar's been set by Resident Evil 2. I mean, Resident Evil 2 was. It really was a surprise in that no one thought it would be that good. Like, to be completely honest, it was like, okay, they're remaking it. I hope it's good. But they like reinvented the whole Resident Evil franchise, and it was really cool.
I think it's important to note that these problems with the shift in focus and its like linear pacing aren't necessarily problems with the remake, but actually just with Resident Evil 3 in general.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This, I mean, I never played them when they originally came out, but I've read enough to know that this is why Resident Evil 3 was so divisive as well, because it just felt different in tone and in scope to Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, it almost not that it felt like an afterthought, but it was different. I mean, Resident Evil 2 was very much the same thing of like you in a police station, XYZ, and Resident Evil 3 was suddenly like, okay, it's a lot shorter. There's less game. There's only one campaign, for example. You're literally playing Jill, whereas RE2 you could play Leon and Claire, and they're both.
Wasn't it originally envisioned as DLC or like an expansion for RE2?
I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it was a lot shorter. Like it was Resident Evil 3 is still my favorite out of that trilogy because I think it just clicked with me the right time and place, and I played it many, many times. But when I look back on it, I can agree it is a lot shorter and it is a lot more action focused. I mean, even in the original, Jill had a dodge. It was a lot harder to pull off, but there were ways to get around zombies and Nemesis if you timed a push right, whatever. And they've kept some of those aspects alive, but it feels like they've also just ignored some parts of the original, which I think will piss a lot of fans off. Like you might not know this, but in Resident Evil 3, the original, you go back to the police station and you spend not a lot of time there, but you do walk the same hallways, you do a few things there. In this remake, it's you maybe pass it, but you don't go in it at all.
Should play more.
No, I don't believe you. But there are certain key moments that are just like so. Like here's a good example. Okay, and I know this is me nitpicking now because I mean I don't expect a cut and paste game. However, I do still think that they should treat some characters the same way they did in the original. So Brad, for example, the other Stars member, you meet
the guy you meet at the beginning.
I mean, he doesn't have a big role in the original either, but it feels like this one was a complete like, oh hey, bye.
Yeah,
he's just gone. It's like, okay, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's super different. It's not giving me the same tension and anxiety that RE2 gave me, and I feel like that was a lot of the reason why I like that game a lot. Like, like moving around the police station with Mr. X continuously following you was like really tense and really fun to work around. Nemesis doesn't feel the same at all. Nemesis feels like he's there for certain scripted sequences, and he's fun to escape. Like he is so much more mobile. The way he he like jumps in front of you, or like whips you with his little tentacle thing, or eventually starts using weapons. Like he is a proper threat. But outside of the moments where you are meant to escape from him, like he doesn't continuously follow you.
Yeah.
So I feel like that tension is missing. And again, that is a design choice from the original RE3. So I think, if anything, people just need to be aware, especially people like me who've never played the originals and are unaware of these changes. Like, these will feel like very different games, and that's fine. Yeah. I'm with you that I'm enjoying my time with RE3 so far. Like, I'm enjoying it less than RE2, but I still think it's a pretty good game.
I still think it's really good, yeah. Like, to be very clear, I'm still...
I'm still digging it, yeah.
RE3 is my favorite in the trilogy. The fact that I'm playing a remake, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. But there are just one or two things that I'm like, I wish this was done differently.
And it's still beautiful. Like, it's unbelievably gorgeous. Like, the streets of Raccoon City in the opening are really, really cool. I wish we stayed longer there because I really like that setting.
But even that opening 10, 15 minutes, that was great.
It's very good,
Never happened in the original.
The game starts incredibly strong. I honestly thought this whole game took place on the streets of Raccoon City. So to leave within like an hour was like super weird to me. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, in the original, you spent a lot of time in Raccoon City. I'd say like maybe the first third or half of the game at least,
So maybe they've changed some structural things, or I don't know. I know that this campaign is RE2's campaigns were around 6 hours each. This one's around 6 hours, but there's only one campaign. There's not 2 playthroughs.
No,
like
RE2 was
cleanly.
longer. I think it was 7 or 8 hours. I know my first playthrough was about 8 hours.
Oh yeah, my first playthrough was about 8, yeah. But then I sped it up super quickly
the
after
second
that.
playthrough a lot quicker.
So I think it loses a bit of replayability in that sense. But then on top of that, it ships with the multiplayer mode, so that's different as
Yeah,
well.
we still need to spend time with that.
I've been hearing really good things about it.
That's
Quite
cool.
surprisingly, a lot of people saying Resident Evil Resistance is pretty fun. So
That's cool. I'm glad
yeah.
to hear. Because when it was revealed, I was like, this
yeah, I was like,
not look good.
asymmetrical multiplayers. Those always like have a very short lifespan, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm digging RE3. It's a good time. It's good to be aware that it's very different.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah. I can see how this was sort of like a springboard for them to start moving into a more action-oriented direction, like Resident Evil 4 and eventually like 5 and 6. So
Well, you know what? So this is what I'm thinking. Okay, so we've got the RE3 remake now, and I think the general consensus is that it's not RE2 in terms of like it loses a bit of that horror, which is a problem because the franchise is it's survival horror. You know, how cool would it be if we got like a remake of the first one now? Like back
in that style.
back in the mansion with like new RE engine where it's over the shoulder, very close.
I'd be super happy with that because currently the remake that they have is still like the old style. I mean, it looks really good, but it's still the old style of gameplay. I would like the first
controls,
one.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, a lot of people say there's no need for it, but I would like a remake of 4 purely because
Have
I
you
don't
played
think.
4?
Yeah, 4 is phenomenal. 4
It's
is like
really good.
one of the best games ever made. But it's like I think it would be an easier transition because they wouldn't have to think about how this now works in third person because that was the first one to play in third person over the shoulder. But I think in this engine, it would look so nice. Like it would look so good.
Yeah.
They can leave 5 and 6. I like 5.
I like 5 as well.
I like 5
honestly,
a lot. 6 is garbage.
5 got a lot of flack, but I played 5. I think I must have played it 3 times from beginning
5
to
is a great co-op game.
with different people.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I never played it alone. I always played a co-op, and it was a real good time.
5 is but man, I was just thinking about it yesterday, and 5's got some dumb shit in it.
It
Like
really does.
I remember the end. One of the end bosses, one of the like quick time events is Chris Redfield just punching a boulder, which is like dumbest shit.
Dude, when you do roids, man, the things you can do.
The steady escalation of campiness in Resident Evil, like
One thing I want to definitely give praise to is how they've reinvented Jill in this game. She is real cool as a character. Like I love the back and forth between her and Carlos.
Yes,
and just
very good.
Her sass levels are great.
Yeah,
like, this is not the Jill I knew from the original, but it's a Jill I really like, and I hope that they keep. I think there will be a trend of them remaking a bunch of them. To be completely honest,
I think so. Yeah, they're doing very well. So
I think that we will get an RE8 at some stage, whatever that is. But I 100% believe that we will get a remake of like the first one, for example, maybe even 4. And I don't mind, to be honest, and I hope they keep this new Jill because she's really cool.
Yeah, again. It would be cool to go back to 1 now because 1 is Jill and Chris, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be cool to see her there because they reference a lot of the events, especially in the opening of the mansion. Like you see her little pinboard with strings, and that's the thing I kind of like about RE2 and RE3. All the notes, like I feel, are really important and really good. They are fleshing out Resident Evil in a way that I think makes it a bit more grounded and real, which is fun.
Yeah. And the notes are so short, so it's not like these huge lore dumps. It's like literally 1, 2, 3 quick paragraphs of like, hey.
But they're giving you like the information you need, and it's like pretty
cool.
engrossing. It's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, Resident Evil 3 is good.
I'm keen to finish it this weekend. Like,
I'll probably finish it today. It's rainy and it's miserable, and that's probably all I'm going to do today.
Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you played anything else this week?
I can give you a quick rundown of Good Job, the indie game.
A good job.
Yeah, you're a good job. Hey,
you're a good job.
It's a Nintendo published indie game that came out last week during that like mini direct. It was like a shadow drop. Like, hey, this is out now. It's cool. It's like this. It's a cool like physicsy puzzle game. Where you play this like polygonal stick figure who's the child of a CEO of like a mega corporation. But you're like dim-witted and dumb, or I don't know. Like everyone in the building seems pretty stupid. So you're like starting from the bottom floor and trying to work your way up to the executive floor. And you're given like every possible job on each floor to do. So like the first floor, you're mopping up like messes. You're delivering color-coded parcels, or you're like hooking up a projector in a meeting room, like pretty trivial, easy stuff. And then it progressively gets more tricky and complicated, like eventually using forklifts to deliver big packages somewhere, or you're redirecting lasers in this like science center to power something. It's pretty cool, but it's one of those games where the movement is all like messed up so that it's very difficult to move sometimes. Like actual movement is fun, but when you're like holding and dragging something, the thing is like sliding around and it's hitting things, and everything is physically reactive. So everything just like falls over or breaks, or it's so like there was a projector in the one room early on, and it was too big to fit through the door. So I was like, okay, so what do I do? So then I saw that there are these like really big, thick electrical cables that you can redirect, like plug into places and whatever. So I plugged one in, and then I realized that if I drag the projector against the cord, then it acts as like a slingshot. So I just like dragged it all the way back and slingshot the projector through the wall. And I was like, cool, here's my new door. And I just so it's like this chaos. It's like you get the job done, and then it like zooms out of the map and you see all the destruction you've caused just to like hook up this projector, and it's ridiculous.
That's cool though.
So it's a fun time. You can play it co-op, which is pretty cool. It's even more ridiculous with other people like
is it
messing
like
shit
co-op,
up.
for example?
Yes, couch. It's only couch co-op as far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool though.
But there's like all sorts of weird and wonderful like reactions to find. Like you can take a fire extinguisher or a fire hose and aim it down, and then you can like essentially fly because you're pushing yourself.
Physics.
Yeah, physics, exactly. One of my favorites was this vacuum cleaner that was like super high powered. And if I filled it with enough stuff, it like exploded. So I basically had like a mobile little bomb that I could use to blow up holes wherever I needed them. So it's a good time. It's a silly, fun puzzle game that there's only like a handful of levels that I thought were kind of bad, but the rest are like really fun little puzzles, and it's brief. It's like 5 hours in total. Okay. So it's a good time. It's fun.
What's it called? Good job.
Good job. Yeah, I think it's like $20 on the eShop. So I think it's totally worth that money.
Yeah. Nice. I just forgot. I played a bunch of Doom Eternal this week, but I'm not gonna touch it because I think I'm very close to finishing it. I'm like 1 or 2 levels out, so I will definitely talk more about it next week.
I have not touched that yet. Still,
it's a good time. If you enjoyed Doom 2016, holy hell, Doom Eternal. It's weird because I can't quite put my finger on like what makes it different. You know, because in terms of raw gameplay, it feels the same, but it's definitely been improved. And it just feels good.
Feels good. I'm especially curious about it on controller. Like, still happy with it.
I started on the second hardest difficulty. I think I must have spoken about this last week. Because I think like when it comes to shooters, I'm pretty proficient. I could get by on that difficulty.
However, you played that CSGO.
Yeah, but on controller, holy hell, I just couldn't do it. So I lowered to the whatever.
Hurt me plenty.
I don't know what the names are.
Yeah, they're all weird. Yeah,
but it feels like that's the sweet spot for me. Where Doom for me is like it's meant to be the power trip of you are this unstoppable force, whatever. So I've died a handful of times, but it feels like a lot of the time I'm just getting through.
It feels balanced. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Whereas other difficulty is like sure. It was fine. Then some encounters like, I'm going to repeat this. If I got through it, and it got a bit frustrating. So I was like, no, I'm just going to lower it and enjoy the game.
And like you said, it's a different type of game. It's not like a Dark Souls where that's part of the experience. I feel like Doom is a power trip. So.
Yeah, look, if you want that, I think it's been balanced very well on that. If you want to play it on the harder difficulties, you just have to be very sure that, not very sure, you have to obviously learn the enemies, learn what weapons work against what enemies, and you have to figure out how to take on whatever combination they throw at you.
Yes.
And if that's what you want, like, you're going to get it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, those encounters I struggled on, I did get through some of them, and it, like, that same sort of Dark Souls rush, you're like, oh, like I did it, it's cool, let me move on. But I've lowered the difficulty, and it's just, it's a lot of fun. But I'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah, by next week, I hopefully would have dabbled with it as well, because I feel like after RE, that's my next stop. We don't have code for Final Fantasy yet. I know people do have, but
oh my god,
that's
can't wait for that.
next.
That's also real close.
That's next. Yeah, I think reviews are up on Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
So yeah.
Shut.
Curious, because I've heard people talking about it, and
good or bad.
Curious to see what these reviews are going to be. Yeah, it's been interesting listening to people.
Because I've seen, I lie, this is from the demo. It's been really positive. I don't actually know what people are thinking of the game, so I'll wait. I will wait.
Let's get to game releases for the week.
Just tease us for next week.
Yeah. Geez, sorry, I'm just opening my browser now.
Even me.
VG20. Yeah, I think game releases are going to start drying up because things are not getting better with this COVID-19, and as we'll see in the news, it's starting to affect video games, which is again, video games not the most important thing in the world right now, but yeah, pretty intense things happening. So there's actually only 2 releases this week.
Really? Shut.
Yeah. We're looking at releases from April 3rd to April. Cannot believe we're in April. April 3rd to April 10th. And there's 2 releases this week. There is Disaster Report 4 on PC, PS4, and Switch. April 7th. And then the big one for the week, Final Fantasy VII Remake, only on PS4.
What day is that on?
April 10th, so Friday.
Shoo, it's close.
Yeah.
So close.
There's not that many games. I mean, the rest of this month, the only 2 that really stick out for me are Predator Hunting Grounds, which is another asymmetrical.
Get Out.
Yeah. And then Gears Tactics, which I'm very excited to play.
I don't know nearly enough about that game, and I feel like I should.
Gears, but XCOM.
Oh boy, sounds good.
Yeah, down. So those are your releases for...
So just before we go into news, I do wonder if... look, the games are going to be pushed out. If not the games now, but obviously the games in May, June, July, thereafter, they're all going to be pushed out depending on how long this COVID-19 epidemic lasts. I wonder if not really wondering, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a trend of people just playing older games and discovering things that they never had time to play before.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Which is going to be real
cool.
Yesterday I bought Rogue Legacy again on Nintendo Switch and fully intend to play that again.
I've never played Rogue Legacy, and I know that in news we'll get to the sequel was announced, correct?
Yeah. The Rogue Legacy 2 is announced. Yeah.
Oh my.
It's a good roguelike. It's real good.
So like on my plate at the moment, it's Ori, which I'm just about to finish. Doom
Shit,
Eternal.
I need to play that as well.
Yeah, Doom Eternal, which I think I'm like a few hours out from finishing. RE3 I'll finish. And then like Final Fantasy VII Remake, and thereafter I'm like, I don't know what else to play, like in terms of modern releases.
You know what you should do? You should buy this really cool indie game called Persona 5 Royal.
No.
And it takes only 120 hours to finish.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like a good time.
Yeah,
okay.
could keep you going on the streams
for a long
while.
time.
Yeah.
Holy God, that would take up many weeks of streaming.
I'm just reading now because on GameSpot, Michael Heim, a friend of mine, he's like he got into Persona with Persona 5, and he's since played I think every single one since they came out. So he just published his review of Royal, Well, he had like
Yeah.
an in-progress review, but he wasn't done with the game. So, but now he finished it over the week. I think his playthrough is like 130 hours. And he's just given it a 10 out of 10 on GameSpot.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah. So
sounds good.
that game, real good.
No good. Royale, maybe. I'll look at it.
Should we get to
News? Yes.
So,
let's get the
in the
let's
news,
get the obvious one out the way.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2.
Delayed. Yeah. Sony
Delayed
and Naughty
indefinitely.
Dog came out this week. They were like, hey, due to the ongoing problems with COVID-19, they cannot maintain the, I think it was end of May release date due to unforeseen logistical reasons. So they are citing logistical reasons like printing discs, getting discs out in a timely fashion, stuff like that, because it seems like the game is actually pretty close to done. Yeah. So I don't think it's a case of Naughty Dog needing more time. It's just like Sony seeing that they probably can't line up a digital and a physical launch at the same time. So
Yeah.
I mean, Square Enix is going through a problem right now with Final Fantasy.
7,
Yeah.
Well, we nearly had the same problem, not problem, but we nearly had the same thing locally, where before our lockdown, Resident Evil 3 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake were almost just shipped.
Yep.
Like physical copies.
That's literally what's happened in Australia. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen on Reddit some people sharing their photos of their physical copy of Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, people have finished it, and it's a complete nightmare because it ruins Square Enix's rollout plans. It also in some places being sold early, some places it's not being sold at all physically. I know at least locally we should only start expecting Resident Evil 3 physical copies near the end of April, even though it's out technically. So I think Sony and Naughty Dog are just like getting ahead of this and going, we can't provide the launch that we want. And they've probably, they have all the stats and have done the math and being like, if we just launch it digitally, this is how much we lose on launch day anticipation sales, stuff like that. So they're just not taking that risk. And that's fine. It's disappointing, but it's fine.
It's fine. But I think even tonally, it's like, it's quite a game to launch during. But even to be honest, Resident Evil 3, that opening, with the news reports, I was like, this
hits a bit weird.
This is kind of real at the moment.
It's like this pandemic is spreading faster than any other in human history, and I was like, oh god.
I'm watching BBC right now. This is literally what's happening.
But that's exactly it. It's like, I think Resident Evil gets away with it because it's more campy in that regard. But The Last of Us is really, it's like hard-hitting stuff. Yeah, I don't think that's the core reason why. But I wouldn't
don't think so either.
I wouldn't be surprised if that factored into a conversation somewhere, being like, maybe this is not the best time to release a game like this.
Yeah.
So
sad,
the weird thing about that is that, well, maybe not weird, but they didn't give a date. So they said indefinitely, which I think is the correct call because like no one really knows when things are getting back to sort of normal. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, end of April. Oh, end of this. End of." No one knows.
No one knows. Like even our lockdown, it's 21 days. I'm like, I fully expect it to be another week or two, maybe longer.
I think it was New Zealand that I saw. Their lockdown is 90 days. It's till the end of June.
That's a long lockdown.
That's a long time. Yeah.
Damn.
So I don't know. I just think this puts Sony in such a weird position because like their idea was to get Last of Us out in May, Ghost of Tsushima out in June, and then from June until December they have no exclusives, so they can focus purely on PlayStation 5 marketing.
PlayStation 5, yeah.
Because they aren't in the same position as Microsoft, where Microsoft is like, we definitely lost this gen, we're going all in on marketing for our new hardware. Sony is still like, people are still buying PS4s, so we can't just pivot to PS5 and be like, if you just bought a PS4 last year, now you have nothing to look forward to,
Yeah.
So I fully expect Ghost of Tsushima to be delayed. I don't see how The Last of Us gets delayed and a game 3 weeks after that doesn't. Yeah, there's no way that's coming out in June. So it's... And Sony came out this year going, we're not going to be at events because we are planning to do smaller events throughout the year. Like, that's fucked. There's no way they can do that. Whereas Microsoft has had to adapt they both have to adapt in terms of how they're showing off their consoles. It's a really weird year for both of them, I think. So, yeah.
That's interesting to see. But we'll see what happens. It's good lord.
Yeah, we'll see if these consoles even come out this year, because that's a whole other thing.
Because if so, the Series X is meant to come out I know they haven't said it was initially Thanksgiving, so November. I mean, things are already being delayed by a month or two, so that's 2021 we're looking at. Feels like we'll see though.
I mean, because it's so unpredictable, no one really knows when this stuff is getting better.
No,
to me, it seems a bit weird for Sony and Microsoft to both be saying, no, it's not affecting our production. It's how do you know that? No, there's no way you'll know that within 2 months.
No.
So I'm sure they're saying that now just to put, rumors to bed. They don't want people to start worrying about it yet. But I fully see the possibility of come June, them both going, yeah, this is so not happening.
We'll delay till next year.
Yeah. And that might be the best course of action, because also part of news, Phil Spencer had an interview with IGN this week where he spoke pretty candidly about the Series X. And the one thing that was touched on that I thought was fairly interesting was him being asked whether they would do a smaller regional launch this year if they can't get it out to all the regions they want. Similar to how they did the Xbox One. If you recall, Xbox One launched in the US and the UK and parts of Europe. It took a year to get to South Africa.
Yeah.
And he actually acknowledged that. He said that he was at Microsoft. He wasn't leading Xbox at the time, but he says that they never want to do that again because they realize what a mistake it was, because Sony launched the PS4 everywhere. And he mentioned Japan. He's he would go to trips to Japan for business and, get there and realize that the Xbox One wasn't even being sold there yet. So he's they want to avoid that as much as possible. So I do wonder if that factors into do we push it to next year,
I think it will. But we'll just have to wait. Because this pandemic, it's changing on a day. It feels like.
Oh, yeah. Daily basis, yeah.
Daily and weekly. Things just change and you don't expect it. So,
who knows?
Let's see. Yeah, let's see.
Other news. There's a cool little game called Totally Reliable Delivery Service. It's sort of Overcooked, but you're bad couriers.
From Death Stranding.
Yes. Yeah, it's the first Strand game. So it came out this week, but as part of a... I don't know, hey, everyone's at home, you should be playing games. They made it free on the Epic Game Store for the first week.
Oh, wow. That's
so cool. If you've got a PC and you want to play this, it looks really fun. It's free for the next, I think, 3 or 4 days, so you should grab that. It's free for, to keep. It's not this is a free play week. It's free.
A good old Epic, just giving you some free games. What is this?
Did we talk about Epic publishing games last week, hey?
I think we did. Yeah, we did. And the
Gen Design and Remedy and... what else?
No.
Oh, yeah. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered.
Got a surprise remaster.
Yeah, revealed and released basically on Tuesday. So this is only the campaign, though. So they're not doing multiplayer, which makes sense. They don't want to split. They realize the mistake. Yeah. But I think Modern Warfare 2 is probably one of the best Call of Duty campaigns out there. It's definitely my favorite out of the Modern Warfare series. So
I think it's the one with probably the most memes.
That is true. That is true.
Got a lot of good memes out of it.
My favorite, I think, ever Call of Duty mission is in that game. It's the one where you're in the you're infiltrating a base in the snow and you're using the heartbeat sensor for the first time, and that shit was just awesome.
It's
I
really
thought
cool. Yeah,
at the time was all cool. Yeah.
Holy shit, I can see their heartbeat from so far away. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It was just a really cool little cinematic level, so I really like that.
Shall we talk about Borderlands 3? Old Randy.
Oh, good lord. Okay, give me the lowdown.
So my understanding is that, so this headline, despite massive sales, Borderlands 3 developers are being stiffed on promised royalty payouts. So my understanding is that They get paid. I don't know what the wage is, but it's like on average or below average. But
Yeah, they are below market level as far as I
below
can
market
tell.
level. But what the incentive was is that, okay, you're earning below market level. However, if the game does well, you'll get paid massive bonuses, is what they were told, basically.
Basically, royalty bonuses. Yeah.
Royalty bonuses. And Borderlands 3 is probably the best-selling game that they've ever had. And despite that, Randy Pitchford and them have come out and said that, nope, no bonuses. Which is like, what?
Fucking gross.
Okay.
Terrible.
What the shit? It's like, I don't understand that. Like,
So
the game...
the split I saw was basically like, I think 40% of sales go to the studio, and then 60% get pulled for like a studio-wide bonus program.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think it was 2K in their financial earnings report said Borderlands 3 is on track to be the best-selling game in the franchise and one of the best sales milestones for Gearbox in general. So it's also kind of gross that like they were promised this. This was like, they are told, okay, you get paid less than market, but you're on a performance bonus program. I mean, a lot of companies run like this. They use KPIs and whatever. And then to just be told like 5 months after you've come out of like intense crunch, because of course that happened, you're working these long hours with the idea of in 5 months, I'm going to get this bonus. Yeah. And people make financial decisions based on this because it's a lot of people in work when they're doing performance-based bonuses, they can kind of see, okay, this is in the ballpark of what I'm going to get, so they make financial decisions based on that, and not for it to be pulled from beneath them is, ugh.
Well, I mean, just as examples, imagine you've made plans to buy a house or you've just had a kid.
Exactly.
For example, I don't know, man. Like, I just can't believe shit like this flies. It
Is
just
there
doesn't make sense.
what article do you have up there with it now?
The Critical Hit one.
Okay, I think there was a mention in Kotaku's one that the reasoning given by executives at Gearbox was that the game just cost too much to make because the game had to pivot from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4 during development. And even though it's sold like I think 9 million copies, it still hasn't made a profit.
Yeah.
So people going, well, okay, that makes sense then. They can't get bonuses if the game hasn't made a profit. But my counter argument to that is like, that's not the employee's fault. Like, that's poor management. If the project has gone over budget and whatever, and they've still promised these bonuses, they've only told them now 5 months after that they're not getting these bonuses. So they were incentivized during those hard crunching months that they were, going to get these bonuses. They were assured that. It's not acceptable in my view. And what makes it even less acceptable is that there's a report that at the beginning of development of Borderlands 3, Randy Pitchford was taken to court over this, that he took a $12 million bonus. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know, man. It's gaming.
It's I don't see how Gearbox like employs people after this, honestly, because this is like a thing that hangs over the studio like a dark cloud. Like, crunch is one thing. Like, I think all these reports of crunch's studios, like, because it's so ubiquitous, like it doesn't stain a studio as much. But this is bad because it's like, hey, if you're going to go to Gearbox, just acknowledge that they will promise you money and then not pay you.
Yeah. But I mean, wait, now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, what I was going to say is that it's weird though, because like I agree with you that it's a bad name for Gearbox. However, I still feel that will be people who will work there regardless, because like, remember there was CD Projekt Red were put under fire for their strict working conditions, like their crunch, whatever.
Yeah.
And some of the arguments are sort of like, no, but if you're working for CD Projekt Red, like it's an honor, you'll do anything for a company like that. And it's like, yeah, I get it. It's one of the biggest shooters in the world, but is it worth like your mental health and your livelihood, for example? Yeah. And I feel that despite Gearbox being as shit as they are now, there will be people like, well, I want to work on Borderlands 4. Like, how cool that'd be on my resume. And it's a problem, though. Like, I don't know how you solve it. It's like,
Yeah.
what
No,
do you put in place to stop the shit from happening?
I agree, and that's why, as a whole, I think the games industry is heading very quickly towards a state of unsustainability, because there was a great episode of the Patriot Act on Netflix, where they interviewed a bunch of it was basically around crunch culture in the video game industry, and they interviewed I can't remember her name, but if I recall correctly, she worked at Riot, and she gave a very scary stat. She says the average like lifespan of someone working in the industry as a whole, not just at a studio, in the industry as a whole, it's 5 years, because they burn out, or they realize that they cannot sustain the sort of demands that the industry requires. So it's like, how many great developers, how many great designers are being pushed out of the industry just because of the way it chews people up and spits them out? And there's continually younger people coming in, being worked to death for 5 years, and then like being forced out. Like, it's not sustainable, and you're missing out on potentially amazing new game-changing video games, because the only people that are remaining in the industry are people who, are old veterans of it.
Well, you probably a very good case study, because, for example, you know that you could you could go do game development. However, you could also use your same skill sets to do another
software
development job, and with better working conditions and better pay.
Like, I mean, this is the problem.
What are you going to choose?
There's so many studios in San Francisco that are losing developers to companies like Google and Microsoft, because they are literally paying around 3 times more than what a game dev studio can, and their working hours are far, far more strict. So
it's no wonder the turnaround time on an employee is like 5 years. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes lower than that.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's just the average. So a lot of this is ubiquitous with American labor law as well. I mean, CD Projekt Red, yes, has had its problems with crunch, but I know their employee retention is also a lot higher, because they just treat their workers a bit better, aside from the crunch, like maybe take care of them. I think you hear far fewer of these horror stories coming from European studios. And there's a reason for that. So, like a Gorilla, you haven't heard of this happening at a Gorilla, I think there's crunch everywhere. I just think there are different ways in which studios manage it, and there are good and bad ways. So. But Gearbox, fucking garbage.
In better news, Terraria, great indie game, has sold 30 million copies.
Holy shit. That's like the 2D Minecraft, isn't it?
That's the 2D Minecraft. That game's been around for such a long time.
Yeah.
And I spent some time playing it years ago, and since then it's just been continuously updated and reinvented, and it's a
30
good time.
million. Yeah. Unbelievable.
That's great.
For a small...
For like a little indie made game. Well, little.
Yeah, little. Yeah, 30 million. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of AAA games wish they could sell that well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know we've got Rogue Legacy 2 coming. That was announced. I can't think of any other super big news.
I know Valorant. So have you heard of Valorant?
That's the Riot shooter.
That's the Riot shooter. That's the closed beta starts on April 7th, which is pretty cool. Okay. So a few weeks ago they had they shared like 1 or 2 short videos showing gameplay, and it looks a lot like the child of the Counter-Strike and Overwatch.
Ooh.
However, it doesn't. So obviously there are abilities, but it doesn't look like the abilities are on the grand scale of Overwatch, and that if you push your ulti, you might sway a map, for example, whatever it is.
Okay.
I think Valorant, it looks like the abilities are more utility based, and that. So like my example is it's the equivalent of a smoke grenade in Counter-Strike, for example. So I don't think it's something that's gonna have that much.
You can't team wipe with an ulti.
No, but it looks really good. So I know it's closed beta. I'm keen to see what. Watch more gameplay and see what people's responses are.
Does it have like a buy portion, or are certain classes equipped with certain weapons?
So I'm not sure, but I don't know in that regard. But for the gameplay I've watched, it looks a lot like Counter-Strike. The way the movement is, the way the weapons fire, it reminds me a lot
weapon
of
recoil
that.
looks very Counter-Strike.
Very similar, yeah. So I'm quite curious to see what is, because Riot, the people who have made League of Legends they've made Legends of Runeterra, which is still a League of Legends spin-off.
Mhm.
They've never made another game, so I'm curious to see like what do they do with a shooter.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
that level of polish and such a big studio. I imagine it's going to be good.
It feels like I remember them announcing it like a few months ago. They were like, "Oh, we're making a shooter, we're making a fighting game, whatever."
They're making everything.
And Valorant just like is like, "Oh, cool, it's in beta already." It's like, "Wow, that was quick."
Yeah, so it's closed beta now. So yeah.
I think that'll be something you'll probably enjoy a lot more than me because I'm not super into the competitive shooters, but you as a cool Counter-Strike player.
You played Overwatch, you enjoyed Overwatch for the time.
Yeah, I mean I never get deep into them. So especially ones that are incredibly technical like a Counter-Strike or an Overwatch, you know. Like I can mess around with a few rounds of Modern Warfare because hey, that's a more accessible one to me, yeah. But I'm not a Counter-Strike guy.
How dare you? Shall we get to questions? I don't know if we have any questions.
Is it because you didn't put a question thing
I did. I didn't put one on Instagram though. I just realized.
Everyone's too sad about lockdown, so
everyone's so sad.
But if you want to send us a question, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media at checkpointchat on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok.
All the places. TikTok. We have no questions. Yo, what happened? But I did forget to put a poll on Instagram. But there's one on Twitter and Facebook. Don't shake your head at me. It's one platform. How dare
Disappointing.
You? No emails from Migs. Nothing from Cello. Nothing. Oh, no.
I did get a message from friend of the show, Bester Bash.
Oh,
he's a friend of mine. He messaged me during the week. He's like, "Fuck your podcast," and then he sent me a photo of Animal Crossing. And I was like,
said the same to me. I was like, well, there we go. Funny. At least I know someone was convinced by ramblings to buy Animal Crossing.
Yeah, he's a very big Pokemon player. So
I added him as a friend. He added me yesterday, or the day before. His hours in Pokemon are insane.
Yeah, he's huge into Pokemon. That's his game. So yeah, I'm curious to see if he enjoys Animal Crossing. I'm sure you will.
Let's go to his island and chop his trees down.
Wow, rude.
Rude. No, but then I guess that's the episode.
It's a nice rainy day. Gonna chill out with some Resident Evil.
Yeah,
and
get to that today.
Yeah, if you want to let us know what you're playing in lockdown, like Matty said, I'm sure a lot of people are diving into some comfort food games just to feel a bit more comfortable with their lives at the moment. So let us know what you're playing. Like, what's your comfort food lockdown game?
All that stuff.
Are you replaying Knights of the Old Republic? What a game!
Are you playing?
No, but I think I should. Such a good game.
I do think we are going to hit a point where there are no new releases and we're just going to go back and play. There's a backlog of shits.
I definitely think this, because like summer is meant to be big for like games and movies and whatever, because it's like all the summer movies have been delayed, and now you're starting to see like Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima probably delayed. So it's like this is the time for indie games, which are just downloadable only. But I mean, even then, so many studios are having their work hours like a bit topsy-turvy because of working from home and stuff. So I think it's good to brace yourself for a bit of a drought.
But you know what? There are decades worth of games to play. So
Oh yeah. I mean, my backlog is still growing. Yeah. So
there's so many Game of the Years.
I'm busy playing Half-Life 2 right now. So
you're playing Half-Life 2. Oh yeah, because you can play Half-Life, Alex. You son of a bitch.
Yeah. So I want to finish Half-Life 2 and episode 1 and 2 before I play Alex. I've played. Where am I now in Half-Life 2? Raven.
Oh,
thing?
That is so good.
Yeah, that like creepy place.
Yeah,
with the priest.
I love how the game goes from action to all of a sudden like this horror.
Yeah, basically. And I've heard a lot of people who've played Alex say, "Oh, this is more like a horror game than anything else." I'm like, "Oh yes,
that's cool.
I'm into it."
Yes.
So yeah,
okay.
We'll
go play games.
Yeah, when the lockdown's lifted, then I'll let you come try some Alex as well.
I don't want your Coronis. Your
Coronis. Wow.
those
I'll just buy Corona beer. Would you want those?
Yes, that's good. It's some good shit.
That brand is
Okay.
fucked.
Well, isn't it interesting how we still call it Corona, but a lot of people like news reports refer to it as COVID-19 now, no longer Corona.
That's true. But a lot of people still associate it with Corona.
Which is still silly though, because apparently Corona sales did go down. Like,
Yeah.
guys, why?
Yeah. Also, like Corona's been around for a long time. This is just one strain of Corona. Yeah.
Yeah, good thing we don't have like a castle-itis, going around.
Yo.
Because people would just stop buying.
If the disease was just called normal castle, that'd be great because normal castle is garbage, and it's
actual
fine if that
garbage.
disappears.
Damn.
Yeah, it's proper garbage. Although
So much
castle alcohol free, pretty good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, we
deal.
only have like alcohol free beer lately. I've been drinking mostly. I had a Devil's Peak alcohol free one, pretty good. Tasted like a fruity IPA, but no alcohol, pretty good. Yeah.
That's cool.
Is it acceptable to Zoom with people from work and have an alcohol free beer?
Yeah, why not?
But people be like, you're drinking on the job, and you'd be like, it's alcohol free.
It's alcohol free, dog. Oh, you mean during work hours? I don't know. People will be funny. Hey, Luna, get off the table.
Because it's alcohol free, but like, it's still beer.
I don't know. It's association. Yeah, like,
It's
you're drinking
weird.
beer.
Yeah. But it's
People are
like,
weird.
if you go to a meeting, you can take a Coke, but can you take an alcohol-free beer?
You
Let us
should
know in your
actually do that.
questions. Yeah,
Just you test it for us and let us know how it goes.
yeah. No,
Just in
I'm
next
fine
week
with
or-
having a job for now. It's fun. I'm not going to use it on a dumb alcohol-free beer test.
The alcohol free challenge. Come to make it go
my-
viral.
Jesus, it sounds like a bad idea.
Okay, I'm done.
This has been episode 93, Checkpoint Chat, remote edition times 2, 2.0. Hopefully it's
Gonna go
good.
do some chores now. Oh my god, yeah. Let's see how the recording comes out.
Mm.
Please be fun. Please don't corrupt. Please be fun.
I'm sure it'll be good. But thank you for listening. Stay safe as always. Don't go out and
Stay home. Play games.
Yeah, play games. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.